Yo, what's poppin', guys? Sizzle here, and today we're taking a look at one of the biggest autograph capsules with over 100 different autograph stickers in it. The Finalist Stockholm 2021 capsule. Here we go. So, first things first, we have the Nico paper. I'll try to kind of speedrun these ones. Uh, just ahead of time. I'm going to be basing this video purely off of how their signatures look, not any history behind the player. Obviously, I know Nico was pretty influential in this tournament. There's going to be a lot of Nico stickers applied to Deagles, but that's beside the point. I'm looking purely from a design standpoint because there's no way in hell I'm going to remember every player doing everything. So, yeah, purely from a design standpoint, it's somewhat okay. It's got a crosshair kind of in the back there. It doesn't really fit on the background design of the G2 logo, but I can't say it's particularly bad, and I happen to know Nico's a good player, so it's going to unfortunately influence my placement for this autograph. But yeah, I'm going to put it in the D tier. It's not particularly great looking. It does have a crosshair, I guess. It actually has a crosshair. I'll put it in the C tier. That's good enough. All right, next up we have the Nexa, which this looks like a D more than an N. I'm sure there's probably some significance to it, but there's actually two swords clashing here. And with the little G2 samurai in the background, it actually looks kind of cool seeing the two swords kind of hitting against each other. To the point that I will actually put this one in C tier as well. It's got a kind of cool design to go with the background. And yeah, where the fuck is it? There it is. All right, coolest one we've seen so far. Then we have the Hunter one, which is just Hunter. There's a line under it for some reason. Don't think there's any real significance. It just says Hunter. Uh, Probably just D tier. It's a very basic thing. It doesn't seem to have any kind of cool thing going on. That's super cool about it. So yeah, D tier for me. Just basic signature. That's what a D tier is for this one. It's unique. Okay, and we have Jax, who just has a crosshair at the end of his, and it's a really well written signature. Like it really bold font for some reason, so you can really tell what it is. Probably gonna put it at the bottom of C tier. It still actually has something kind of unique about it, and the signature is actually the most readable one, probably in this entire capsule, honestly. It's just very well readable. Then we have Ammonic, just a basic signature. For me, it's a D tier. I think the Hunter also sounds a bit cooler, so I'm putting Hunter above that. All right. Next up, we have the Tess's autograph, which doesn't really fit on the background and just look like a great signature. I think it's our first F tier one. I don't really like the look of this one. So let's find Tess's, if we can ever find them. Jesus Christ. This is going to be painful. Okay, I think this is him. I'm assuming. I don't think there's foils, so yeah, F tier. There we go. First F tier sticker. Then we have Stavin. Same kind of problems as Tess's. Just looks a little bit better than Tess's, I guess. Otherwise, it looks a bit worse actually than Tess's. So yeah, still F tier for me. Then we have Sajosh, and he's a little smiley face at the end of his, so I can't put this in the F tier. Has similar problems though. It's running way off the logo. But yeah, cute little smiley face is enough to put it into D tier for me, but not much better than that. Now if I can only find it, there it is. There we go. All right. Then we have refresh. Uh, Same problem. Doesn't really fit on the sticker. F tier for me. Even if he is a cool player and somewhat cool send username. Where the fuck is refresh? There he is. Probably better looking than most of the other ones, and I meant to put that in D tier, not F tier. Here we go. All right, then Cadian has a cool ass karambit in his, and I do actually remember the Cadian's name from somewhere, so I know he's somewhat relevant. Um, yeah, I mean the karambit looks really cool, well made, really well done on that. I'm surprised he got it onto his autograph sticker. Looks really cool. It still doesn't fit on the sticker, so I can't put it higher than anything else in C tier, but I can definitely put this in. Honestly, I'm gonna put this, yeah, C tier. I think the holos are probably gonna fill BA and S probably single-handedly because the holos gonna look really cool. Then we have Naphany, which I wouldn't have known unless I could read the part up here. It has some kind of like Korean or Chinese symbols down here, maybe Japanese. Okay, I don't know what it would be because I'm not remotely Asian. I'm assuming that's Asian. Might not even be Asian for all I know. That's probably some kind of reference, and it's kind of a wacky font that he used on this, so I'll give him some credit where credit's due, and I'll put him in D tier, probably above the other people in D tier, because there's something clearly unique going on. I just don't know what it is, personally. I'm sure it's something cool. Anyway, next up is the Axle one, which just as clean. It actually fits on the logo for the most part, so I'll give him credit for that. And I'm gonna put him actually at the second highest thing in D tier. If I can actually, that's the gold. That is not what I wanted. Where was the paper? I thought I had the paper clicked. Yeah, actual paper. There we go. Boom, just like that. Then we have the Inters one, which is a very readable one. I'll give him that, but it does not look good. I'll be honest. The way he signed this with random caps and whatever just does not look that great. To the point that I'm actually gonna put it bottom of D tier. Probably the worst D tier one we've seen so far, because at least you can read it. I'll give him that. Then we have Shiro, who added a very noticeable smile to his, and it fits pretty much all on the logo. So for that, I'm gonna put him in C tier. Bottom of C tier still, I believe, because can't really beat the Karambit. Honestly, the Karambit's pretty dope. I'm actually putting that at top of C. I might put that bottom of D actually, bottom of B, moving that around. Karambit's kind of dope. I think a bit more. Hobbit, a very readable one, and very kind of wacky font, but it also fits on the logo. Give credit where credit's due. Top of D tier. Anyway, next up we have Drop, who turned his piece sideways and made it like a dead face, which actually was kind of cool, and it actually fits on the logo very well. So I'll give him credit where credit's due, and I'll put him at the top of C tier. And it'll probably be higher on his holo and whatever, but for the paper, top of C tier. Then we have Sardo, basic signature from what I can tell. Maybe it has some other meaning that I just don't see, but it's just like a basic, well done signature. Obviously, can't go wrong with it if you like the player. That's the thing about the autograph ones. It's just it really just depends on how much you like the players, and not really the actual design themselves, unless the design is particularly horrible, but or just particularly cool. Like having the Karambit's actually really dope. Anyway, then we have Vinny, and I happen to actually know this as Shark Fin because apparently he's known like Shark Boy or something. I just know that from a Jesus video I happened to watch before making this. So that's a bit unfortunate for me that I actually know that, because otherwise it's really hard to tell this is a shark fin. I don't know why he didn't just color the whole thing in, but I guess then it's no longer an N. I don't really know what he was trying to do there. It's kind of cool that there's something unique about this, but in my opinion, when you first see this, unless you know that fact, you're not going to know that's a shark fin, and it's going to make really no sense to you. It's just going to look like a V with some scribbles in it. So I'm actually going to put that one a bit low. Probably toward the bottom of D tier, just because like you wouldn't know unless you know. Then we have Art, who is like a cool winged helmet, which I believe is some other type of reference, and his whole signature is very basic, straight and to the point, and it looks really nice. So probably the second best one we've seen so far, behind the Cadian Karambit, which just looks dope. And yeah, then we have Urith, which has some kind of like something going around that, some like ghost-looking things going around it. There's a 6 there, probably some kind of meaning. I don't know what it is though from just me, but it's probably something cool. So I'll give him some credit for that. I don't know exactly what it is though, so I'm still gonna put him just below, uh, in the D tier because I don't know what it is. Anyway, we have our first VP one, which is quicker. It's just a basic signature. That's all there's to it. It's not bad, not particularly good. And yeah, just another DT one. I don't even care about the placement anymore because it's gonna be stupid full by the time we're done. So it's a D tier one, right? That's the whole point. It's just a basic autograph. Then we have Buster, which is confusing. I don't know what this is supposed to be. It actually just looks worse than normal signature for me. I know he tried something unique here, but in my opinion, as someone who knows nothing about him, it failed. And it's probably the worst one we've seen so far because I would not be able to read this. Anyway, we have Yekadar, which is a very unique font for his. I'm not saying it's particularly good, but it's at least unique, and it's somewhat readable, so I can't put him at the bottom of F, but I will put him at the bottom of D. Alright. Then we have Joan James, and he wrote his thing as James Time, and it fits on the logo. Very readable, probably some kind of reference to something about him, which is kind of cool that he could fit that in there and have it not look weird. I'll give him credit, put him at the bottom of seat for it. That's pretty cool. Then we have, is this Flit? I would never be able to read this. 1.5 probably some kind of meaning. There's like a dollar sign symbol. There's clearly a lot of references going on this one. And honestly, I can read everything that matters. Like I can read the F, L, and T, and then you could assume the 1 would be an I, because what else would it be? Or just a 1, because it is a 1. You could probably read this as Flit eventually. And there's probably a lot of cool references in here, so I guess I'll put it in D tier. Honestly, not sure why I'm making this video, because this really doesn't matter to most people. Where the fuck is his signature, though? Let's see. There it is. Alright, yeah, just somewhere in D tier. Doesn't really matter where. That's a solid one. Then we have Hampus, who's a 3.0, probably some other type of reference, and his base signature is just good. It's readable, very readable, and it's even underlines it, emphasizes it, and the background NP logo fits it well, so just somewhere in D tier. It's good. Then we have LNZ, very basic signature, gets a point across, somewhere in D tier. That's really all you need to do for a signature. And honestly, we might just start going off of the tier list so I don't have to keep swapping back and forth, but no, I'm not going to do that. Rez, very cool name, so I'll give him credit for that. Put him toward the top of D tier, just because that's a basic signature of a cool sounding and looking name. Yeah. And then we have Plopsky, very basic signature on the NIP logo. Just another D tier one, somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Doesn't really matter too much where he's exactly placed. And we have Device, very well-known guy, but his signature is still very basic. It just says Device. For me, that's just a D tier, even though I know he's a very relevant player. It's just from a design standpoint, it's just a very basic signature, so it's a D tier. Then we have Zaiwu, which, yeah, basic signature. Mistua, same thing. Right, different fonts, but generally just basic signatures. So these are all going to go in D, I believe. Yeah, they look like they're all going to go in D to me. I'm going to try to speed this up so this video isn't 3 hours long. And Apex, yep, same thing. So all of Vitality just have some basic signatures that belong in the D tier, in my opinion. Just somewhere in there. They're just basic signatures. That, you can't go wrong with if you want a signature of the player. Just, yeah. Yeah, then we have our first holos. So Nico's looks absolutely astounding. It's a very, very nice hollow effect applied to both the background and the foreground. Actually looks really cool. I don't know if it's gonna be like that on all these. I don't actually know. Let's just test like Hunter. I think they all have the same kind of effect. So yeah, we're just gonna push them up the amount of tiers that I believe they should be pushed up. And I think honestly, the hollows for G2 look dope as fuck. And like I said, Nico's a really good looking one. So for me, that's an S tier one for Nico, Dex, and Jax. And then the other two are gonna be an A tier one. Just for having a basic signature with a really nice looking hollow. But these three had a really good looking, somewhat good looking signatures, and then the hollow is really good. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna be doing the hollows. Just look at one and then move them accordingly. Okay, so let's look at Cadian. He's our number one for this one. And the hollow effect on this looks really cool with the background. Like the black and red in the background, and then RGB on the front, and even the logo actually looks really nice together. I think that's a really, really cool hollow effect. And like I said, Cadian was our best, by far best, normal signature in terms of just looks alone. So for Cadian, I'm actually going to put that one in S tier as well. It's probably the best thing we've seen so far, actually a little bit better than these hollows. And yeah, I'll move his teammates up accordingly, which they were actually in F tier, so they're going to move to B tier, just for having some basic signatures. I guess that didn't fit on their logo. I do like it more when it fits on the logo. I think it looks nicer. It's kind of hard to fit on the heroic logo, to be fair, but that's not my problem. That's theirs. Anyway, next up we have the Gambit hollow effects, which is pretty much the same, but the background logo isn't as cool, so I can't move them up as much as heroic. I'll honestly say that the G2 ones look a bit better. So let's move these guys up. So Shiro is the best one. I still think it's good enough. I think it's good enough for A tier, honestly. So I think Shiro is better than those guys in A tier, but that means the rest of his team, which are all the tier below him, are going to be in B tier toward the bottom of it. Because, yeah, that's just how it works. Still above the papers, though, because the holos are just cool. There's a reason that pretty much unboxing any holo is instant profit for these cases. It's because they look cool. And I don't think we've ever had holo signatures before, which is kind of interesting. They're really well done. Anyway, next up we have the Furia ones, which I'll go with the art one for this. So we have the the whole like Furia sticker still in the back from the base Furia holo, but it's a different looking holo effect where it's just kind of like a golden shine to it, which for me actually looks really really dope. I love like gold looks and everything. So for me, that's enough to put art right below Cadian. I think Cadian's looks a little bit nicer, but I think it looks a bit nicer than G2. Just a simple black and gold works very well. And for the rest of them, honestly, I should be putting them in B tier, but I believe I'm going to put them in the A tier in pretty indiscriminate order because it's a really nice looking effect. And their signatures were all pretty good and had probably something unique to them across the board. And Drop obviously having the better looking one. I should put them above G2, but still below those two because they looked a bit nicer in my opinion. But yeah. Then we have the VP Holo effect, which is a goldish red, like almost like a flame kind of color going across it. And then the background is like a super angry god version of the polar bear. Looks pretty cool. Um, so yeah, I can't put that too low. I think those actually look pretty nice as well. I really do just like the look of a lot of the hollows in this one. And like I was saying, Jame Time is my favorite of those signatures. I can't particularly put this one S tier though. I think it looks worse than most of the other effects we've seen so far. So for his teammates, they're also going to be ranked a lot lower as well, especially this guy who I think had a really bad looking base signature. I can't put that below the paper ever. I mean, these hollow fixtures are too cool to put below papers. But yeah, the rest of his team is just going to actually be somewhere in the B tier, probably at the bottom of the B tier. I think James Time's probably going to be the best one to go to for the VP ones. I think it's the worst looking hollow of the hollows we've seen so far, but it's still a very, very nice looking hollow. So, yeah. I believe we only have one more hollow. No, we have two. So we have NIP, which I'll go with Device for this one because he's just known. And it actually has the base hollow of the NIP stickers from a yellow to light blue to some like green. And then the background even gets somewhat affected by it. It actually looks really, really cool. And the shuriken is super defined on the background they use here. I actually really like this one. I think it's probably the best thing. Not the best thing. Okay, Cadian, like the heroic one just looks really good. The gold looks really nice, but this is still better than G2 in my opinion. So I'll put Device in S tier above G2. Um, and then I'll actually put his team with him. I think it's one of the better looking effects, and all their signatures were pretty solid across the board. So yeah, NIP Hollows, in my opinion, are the best looking for just everyone on the team, I guess. Um, yeah, that just feels right to me for some reason. Cadian just really has like the best signature from this collection. Anyway, we have the Vitality ones, which yet again have that flame effect from the OG Vitality Hollow. Except the background doesn't work as well for some reason. I don't know why, but the signature still looks somewhat cool. Um, I do want to say these look a little bit better than VP, but that's about it. And the best looking Vitality one was still in D tier, so I can't put any of these above Jame Time, but I can put them in B tier. I believe between Gambit and Heroic is where these belong, in my opinion. Just all five of them. So yeah, there we go with that. And now all we have left are the golds. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the hollows. We kind of know the signatures, so now we just go with how they look on the gold. And yeah, for G2, the background ends up looking really scuffed, but the signature itself ends up looking really dope. So I can't say they're particularly that great. I can't say they're that bad either. So it puts me in a very awkward position. But I think I'm gonna put them at the bottom of A tier. I do really like the base look. But the background almost looks plastic. So actually, I'm gonna put them in B tier above the papers. probably gonna be, hopefully, gonna be some of the worst looking golds out of here. Where the hell is the rest of G2? I'm just gonna put them all together for this one, cause yeah, there's not enough difference to put them. You know, they're just above the paper, so it's not like there's gonna be an actual split for them. Yeah, G2, G2, G2. That was one. There's another, and the final one is where. I guess I'll just find him and move him later because I don't want to waste too much time just looking through these. But yeah, all of G2's right there. Just know that. Oh yeah, the Nico right there. Alright. Anyway, next up we have next set of golds, which would be Heroic. And theirs actually looks pretty similar. Are these all gonna look similar? Let me just check. If they all look similar, then I'm just gonna put all these in B tier. Yeah, they. So the background on the gold stickers looks horrible, but the main signature is just a really solid gold. The background design just looks like a plastic black. It just doesn't look good for any of these. So these are all going in B tier with Cadian just at the top, and everything else doesn't really matter. I'm gonna move these two down for now, just so I can move them up later, and I can just stuff literally all the golds in B tier. Because yeah, they're solid, just gold signatures of generally pretty solid signatures on the whole. That's really all there's to say about them. The background doesn't look good. Like the actual logos of all the teams on the gold stickers just don't look good. I don't know what they did to them, but they just do not. They don't. They don't work. Yeah. I'm just basically apply the golds the way they were before. And yeah, that's it for the finalists capsules. That's my kind of opinion on just the design of the holos and stickers. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this thing I just did. And I will see you in the next one.